Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Former Defense Chief Gibo Teodoro visited Davao City again to receive his second dose of COVID-19 vaccine. Teodoro also met with Mayor Sara Duterte in the city. We have Mian Baños giving us live updates from Davao City. Hi, Mian. What did the two discuss during their said meeting?
Hi, good evening, Riza. Yes, Mayor Sara Duterte met with former Defense Chief Gibo Teodoro here in Davao City for the second time, but both of them clarified that there are no politics involved in today's activity. Mayor Sara recalled that Teodoro's visit last June 3 did not include any plans for him to get vaccinated. It was the mayor's idea to inoculate Teodoro after they met last month. She believes that it would help them in their vaccination campaign if personalities like Gibo will be seen by the public receiving his vaccine in Davao City. For his part, Teodoro said he could not say no to Mayor Sara's request. He followed the vaccination process in Mintal Comprehensive High School this afternoon, Riza. He was first interviewed and screened by a doctor before receiving his final Sinovac shot. When asked about a possible tandem with Mayor Sara in the 2022 polls, Teodoro refused to answer, saying that this is not the right time for politics. He added that his mission in the city is clear and that it is to support the vaccination program of the LGU. Teodoro also told News 5 that his vice presidential run will depend on circumstances, but for now it is still too early to tell. Mayor Sara also refused to answer any political questions. Recall that her regional party Hugpong ng Pagbabago gave her until July to finalize her 2022 plans. Despite this, former Congressman Noynoy Andaya said the two remains politically compatible as the chemistry between them remains. Riza, Mayor Sara also said she's not afraid of any black propaganda against her, as she is confident that these people won't find anything that would ruin her reputation. Riza?
Thank you. That's Man Los Baños reporting live from Davao City. Meanwhile, the Philippines logs nearly 6,000 new COVID-19 cases today. The total caseload still stands at 1.4 million. Of this, 3.8% is active. That's more than 53,000 infected patients. At least 90 new deaths were recorded today. That's 1.75% of the total death tally, which is now at a little over 25,000. Meanwhile, some 7,600 more patients survived the virus today. In total, 94.5% of infected Filipinos have already recovered from COVID-19. The Octa Research Group identifies 4 areas as being of concern due to recent increase in COVID-19 cases. Let's hear more on this from Octa Research Fellow, Mr. Guido David. Professor Guido, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Rita.
Sir, can you tell us more about this latest report? How's the COVID-19 situation in these said areas?
Well, yes, we did identify 4 regions which we saw had an increase, but some of them, day to day they change. So we noticed that there was an improvement in some of them, but we're still seeing a significant increase in what we mean by that is at least 30% growth rate every week. And we're seeing that in Davao City, and even now Bacolod again is on an increase, Iloilo City. And as mentioned, San Fernando, La Union, which had a very significant increase in cases.
Sir Guido, Octa also noted a slight rise in new daily cases recorded here in NCR. How significant is this?
Well, it was only a 5% increase. It was a spike. Every now and then we see spikes in the NCR. We actually saw a spike a few weeks ago due to the social gatherings that were identified, I think, in parts of Quezon City at that time. So every now and then we have some, spreader events, people having social gathering or some kind of congregation. But it does not indicate a clear trend. In fact, these are usually curbed immediately. So we're not very concerned about a 5% increase in, or it's a slight increase in cases. If it continues until next week, then we will be concerned. But right now, we're not seeing it as a threat.
Given these developments, sir, how soon can we achieve the pre-surge numbers based on your projections?
Well, the numbers are sort of plateauing, so we're not even sure if we can achieve the pre-surge levels at this time, or if we do, assuming that the numbers trend downward again, it might be around the middle to late July when we see the pre-surge numbers. But right now, we're not so concerned as long as numbers are not increasing in the NCR. Our concern is to get the vaccination rollout continuing. We hope that we can achieve 20 to 30% vaccination in the NCR soon by around August or September, and then we would have achieved some level of protection. And this is what we're seeing in other countries. Once they reach 25 to 30% vaccination, there's already a significant effect on the trend.
So Guido, going back to the surge in some areas, including that slight increase of number in NCR, how do you think the Delta variant came into play with these numbers? And can you say that this is the main reason behind these surges?
No, we cannot say that the Delta variant is responsible at this time. We don't have biosurveillance evidence that the Delta variant is spreading in the country. And also, based on the trends, we're not seeing a very fast increase that would be, let's say, characteristic of the Delta variant. When we compare it to other countries, the rate of surge that we're seeing there is very, very fast. And we're talking about countries which have seen the Delta variant enter their premises. So in the Philippines right now, based on the trends, we're not seeing it yet, but we have to wait for confirmation from biosurveillance. What we're just saying is based on the data that we're seeing right now, based on the biosurveillance, we don't have evidence yet that the Delta variant is spreading in the country.
So what about the current COVID-19 restrictions here in NCR Plus in other areas? We'd like to get your thoughts about it.
Well, we support the opening of the economy and easing of restrictions to restore livelihoods and to let the economic, the businesses recover. So far, we think that, keeping the NCR under GCC was the appropriate move until we can get more vaccinations in the region.
Well, as always, thank you, sir, so much for the time that you spent with us. That's Sir Guido David, Team Fellow of Octa Research Group.
Thank you.
Right now, available vaccines provide protection against known coronavirus variants. So for how long can we depend on the protection of anti-COVID jabs? Johns Hopkins' Andrew Pekosh tells us in this Bloomberg report.
Professor Pekosh, I feel like I Google this every night and get a different answer, so please provide some professional advice and guidance here. What does it mean the vaccines protect people against the Delta variant, that they protect people against the coronavirus? Is it simply that they don't get fatally ill, or is it that they actually do not get sick and cannot transmit the disease?
Yeah, so with Delta, the data is still coming out. We have about 3 studies that are out there right now that show that if you're fully vaccinated, meaning for the mRNA vaccines in particular, that you've gotten both doses and you're at least 2 to 3 weeks out from your booster dose, in those situations, you're seeing protection against all aspects of disease, severe disease, hospitalization, as well as what we call symptomatic infection. So the data with Delta looks good, although again, it's just a few studies right now, and we need more data from that. The risk though is not minimal, right? Vaccines are not perfect. And with a variant that's more transmissible, you might expect to have a slightly increased risk, even if you're vaccinated, of getting infected. But the vaccines are protecting, and that's the important message to get out there. When we talk about surges with Delta, we're probably talking about surges that are going to be primarily in the unvaccinated population, because the vaccinated individuals in our population will be protected.
Dr. Pekosh, is it concerning to you that the Delta variant is something like 60% more transmissible, according to some studies, than even the B117 variant, which was itself much more transmissible than the original strain? The trajectory here does not seem to be that great. Are we seeing a similar type of evolution in the Gamma strains that people are picking up and others?
So far, Delta is the one that I think we're most worried about, because that increased transmission is really giving the virus what you can call a new platform to accumulate more mutations on. You know, we're always concerned about mutations that'll evade vaccine-induced immunity, but those mutations put on a highly transmissible virus makes it a higher risk. We have something we call viral fitness that we measure all the time, and a virus that's more fit can handle some mutations that may be a little deleterious, but it still lets that virus circulate in the population. So as we get variants that are better and better at circulating, the potential for getting the vaccine escape mutations in those backgrounds represents a risk that scientists like myself are very, very concerned about.
And for more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.